Alright, hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Hope you've all been doing well. So I want to count down my top 5 favorite lesser known, underappreciated waterfalls within the Toronto GTA-ish area. So if you live in Toronto or the surrounding area and you want to check these out, this is the guide for you. We're coming to a time of year when most of the fall leaves have fallen, and so it's looking a little dead outside. So hiking is a lot less appealing. Visiting waterfalls in the wintertime is really awesome because it's an entirely new look compared to like the summer and spring seasons. Generally speaking, in the wintertime, you're going to have icicles and half of the falls is frozen and everything, and it's a magical wonderland. And also, generally speaking, most people don't want to go outside when it's cold out, and therefore there's barely anyone at these locations. Because don't you hate it when you go to like popular locations like Niagara Falls or Webster's Falls or whatever, and it's just jam-packed with like screaming children everywhere? And well, now in the wintertime and at these lesser known locations, you're going to be able to really get to appreciate the location entirely to yourself or with your group of friends, most likely. Just a word of discretion in terms of if you do plan a trip to go visit some waterfalls in the wintertime, it is going to be icy, it is going to be slippery, so safety is paramount first and foremost. So just make sure that you use your own discretion, distance yourself from the falls according to what you feel that you are comfortable with. Vicky, Joey, the other people that I kind of do all these hikes with, we're pretty avid outdoor people. We do a lot of backpacking, we do a lot of rock climbing and things like that, and that definitely, those types of skills definitely help in terms of going on these winter adventures. But the top 5 falls that I'm going to select for you right here are going to be pretty easy to get to. They're my selections. They're not my favorite waterfalls like in general. They're my favorite falls to visit in the winter time because they're going to be close to parking lots, or if they're not close to parking lots, they're going to be a really easy hike where there's very wide paths and stuff like that. But just know that not all the locations will always be open. Sometimes that they'll be closed for winter maintenance or a lack of winter maintenance. So make sure you go to the local websites and their Twitter feeds or whatever it happens to be to check whether they are open for you to go and visit. All right, so let's get started. My first pick is going to be called Cataract Falls. It's located in the Forks of the Credit Provincial Park, which is just before Orangeville. This falls isn't near the parking lot, but the paths are relatively large and it's a pretty easy walk to get to it. And it's just really beautiful because of all the icicles and ice formations and the fact that you can get so close to the falls but not actually get wet. It's really cool. So check out Cataract Falls if you get the chance. Number 2 is located at Tiffany Falls, but it's not actually Tiffany Falls. Tiffany Falls is a waterfall located kind of between Burlington and Hamilton, and it's, you know, Tiffany Falls is just a short, like, I think it's like a 2-minute walk from the parking lot. It's really easy to get to, and it's a not a humongous falls, but it's very tall. It's pretty in its own right, but it's pretty well known. What I'm actually talking about is what's behind it. So not a ton of people realize that if you just pass Tiffany Falls and go just a little bit further, the river that feeds Tiffany Falls also feeds a smaller falls called Washboard Falls. And it's really pretty. It looks like a washboard, and that's how it got its name, I assume. It's small, but if you like stand in front of it, it almost looks like a natural fountain or something like that. So it's pretty unique. The photos that I have from here aren't from wintertime, but you get the idea of what it might look like in the wintertime. And the fact that nobody knows about it, it's kind of a hidden gem, means that you're probably going to get a unique perspective for your gram. My third pick is Albion Falls, which is located right smack dab in the middle of Hamilton. And this is a falls that's actually quite popular because it is right in the middle of the city. It means it's just jam-packed with people all the time. And the falls is actually right off of the road as well, so you can park your car and just walk down, and then you're like right, not even like a view of the falls, you're like right at the falls like right in front of it. So for this one in particular, it's a really beautiful falls any time of year, but because it is located in the city and there are so many people, it's very difficult to get it in a situation where you can really appreciate it for what it is. There's always people crawling on it or people screaming all around you, and it's just not it's a super fun experience. But when we go and visit it, it's usually going to be in the winter time, and we're usually the only people there, and it's still just as gorgeous in the winter time as it is in the other months. You know, it's on the way to Niagara Falls too, so if you wanna, you know, stop off there, definitely check it out. Number 4 is also located sort of on the west side of Hamilton, and it is called Ingles Falls. And the reason I like this area is just because it's actually like a bunch of falls along the same river or the same creek or whatever you would call it. So it's really nice to be able to hit off a bunch of waterfalls all at once. You can just, you know, walk from one falls to the next and be able to see a whole bunch of them, and they're not like the most fantastic falls on their own, which is why I think if you were to go in the winter time and see like half of it frozen in ice, I think that would be really cool to check out. My number 5 pick is Ingles Falls, which is halfway to Tobermory. Ingles Falls is a really unique, beautiful falls, but it is always packed with people. So we went to visit recently in the sort of summertime, and there's only a few good viewpoints to take an overhead photo of it. So in the winter time, it'd probably be a lot easier to get a nice clear shot, and with a lot less people, you know, lining up to take turns and stuff like that, and you'd probably be able to get the whole falls to yourself. There is a way to actually get down to the base of it as well if you go down to the river and then walk up the river. It can be kind of sketchy. The river branches off in many ways, and in the winter when it's covered in snow, I'm not sure whether you'd be able to see it. So I don't really want to recommend you try and get to the base of it in the winter time, but it is a falls that is beautiful. You should definitely try and take advantage of the lower amount of people that are going to be there in the winter. Hello, little salamander. Hello, little salamander. My friend. Nature's plumbing. So Tangy and Kenneth are actually how I got into photography, because they were into it first, and I just started tagging along on their hikes and stuff like that, and then they got me really into it. So a lot of what I do now and my hobbies and passions and everything, I owe it to these guys. So you might be wondering which falls is the thumbnail video, and that's actually going to be a little bit of a bonus falls. So this is going to be the 6th falls, but I can't actually recommend it because I just found out that they've closed it. It is located very close to private property, and I think a lot of people were parking on that person or those families' sort of private property in order to get to it. So I think there were some complaints, and now the location is closed, so I can't actually put this on the official list. But it is something that maybe you can check out in the future. We actually got to it through Hockley Valley, which is located just beyond Orangeville. So what we did was we walked the Hockley Trail, and then we found the river, and we actually hiked upriver. This was many years ago before they even closed it, but we hiked all the way upriver to the falls. It is called Cannings Falls. So it's actually just it's a very small falls, but it was awesome for us because we were hiking Hockley Valley actually, and just kind of stumbled upon it as we hiked upriver. So it was a hidden falls, a secret falls that we didn't even know was there. We just kind of stumbled upon it. And so this was quite a few years ago. I think it was far before when they actually officially like closed it to the public. Keep an eye on it. Maybe they will reopen it soon and you can check it out then. This is one that we were able to get really up close and personal with, and it felt like we were the only people that even knew about it. That's the whole point of all these adventures, is going to these locations and feeling like you're experiencing something that not a ton of other people have experienced. So some of these falls, there's tons of people around all the time. Winter time, nobody around, so you're gonna get a little bit closer to that feeling of being in a location and really experiencing it and appreciating it. So those are my picks for lesser known underappreciated falls that you can visit that are close to the Toronto GTA area in Ontario. Hopefully this guide helped you out a little bit. Just remember, keep learning, keep leaping, and keep living, and I'll see you later. See you on the flip side.